state of the human species is to bond for life. I read other studies that said, quote unquote, the natural state is to have polyamorous multiple relationships. And the more you look at the human species, the more you see that diversity is the norm. And if some people are gay, some people are straight, some people like both. And when it comes to monogamy, without a doubt, it doesn't suit everybody. However, to say that it doesn't suit anybody is ridiculous. So we find cultures worldwide that are monogamous. We find cultures worldwide that are polyamorous. We find cultures worldwide that involve polygamy. I mean, you know, we might like to make fun of sheiks in the Middle East for having, you know, harems full of women, but, you know, just look at Jeff Warren, for example, you know. So,
we also know in the Middle East that women who are not faithful to their husbands can be stoned or killed or something like that. I don't remember if you mentioned that in the book, but...
Yeah, that's not in the book, but that certainly does occur. It's very unfortunate that I think it's tricky because when you truly love somebody, you know, that is the best drug of all. And when you have your sexual behaviors, you know, dictated to you, it's
imposed,
very bad behavior.
I thought some of the most entertaining part of the book was, well, before we leave this, let me ask you this. You have a section of the book where you talk about female unfaithfulness has been a key driver in the evolution of both human sexual behavior and our anatomy. Can you explain that?
That is not my argument.
Gallup argues that, but I mean, can you...
Gallup argues that.
Yeah.
I don't agree, but it's a very funny chapter in the study of sex. I'm not quite sure how graphic I can get. But
well, it's late at night, so... maybe not. Maybe we'll skip this one.
No, we don't need it. I can use some metaphors. So, in a lot of species, male genitalia has evolved to scoop out the semen of other males who have mated with a female prior to their activity. And there is an idea that the human tool has evolved to do the exact same thing. So if you just Google Gordon Gallup coronal ridge, you will find a scientific study that looked at the capacity for the human coronal ridge, which is also known as the bell, to extract the semen of other males who have been with a woman prior to their activity. The idea being that promiscuity prevails.
Right.
Is that safe?
Yeah, that... Maybe I'll go at it this way. You mentioned about the idea of pair bonding, and you compare it to a couple of other, the prairie vole, I think is kind of the exception. It's monogamous, and we look at that species, or doves or something like that, and we sort of impose human values on it, and it is a beautiful thing, and it's a beautiful thing for men and women when you can get into a relationship that lasts forever in monogamy and be happy in it. But you think about how many, for example, American divorces just don't work. It doesn't work out so often, so many of the times. Is that because people feel it's imposed, sort of a morality kind of thing, or is it driven by a biological type imperative? What do you think's going on there?
That's a very tricky question. As I said, we have a societal construct, the idea that monogamy is the quote-unquote right way to be. I think the best way that I can discuss this is just with numbers. So, if you ask people what they do, sorry, forgive me.
Are you still still there?
No, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to Here we go. So 42% of marriages end in divorce. Okay. 1% of all marriages will end every year. So obviously, a lot of people are tied to people that they will not spend the rest of their life with. Okay, so in 1953, Arthur Kinsey, one of the most important sex scientists of all time.
I'll tell you what, Zoe, I shouldn't have asked you that without enough time to finish it, but the music is telling us we need to go into a break. We'll pick this up on the other side, and we're going to hear a song going into the break here from The Doors from 1967, a band that certainly sort of personified sex, drugs, and rock and roll all in one. We'll be back with more of our discussion right after this on Coast to Coast AM.
KFI News on a brush fire that's burned more than 1,000 acres in the Prado Basin area near Corona is 35% contained. Cal Fire's Mike Moeller says the dry weather is making things more difficult.
What this contributed to, it's not only the drought, but the fuel conditions that we're seeing throughout not only Southern California, but statewide.
The fire started just after 6 yesterday afternoon near the 71 and 91 freeways. 300 homes had been evacuated, but people were allowed back home by this morning. Israeli police are investigating the killing of a Polish tourist. A Polish police spokesman says the woman was found in a forest in northern Israel 3 days after being reported missing. It's not clear if she was killed in a criminal attack or by militants. Officials say such attacks on tourists are rare in Israel. The aid group Oxfam says an airstrike by the Saudi-led coalition has hit one of its storage facilities in northern Yemen as the UN continues to call for pauses in the fighting so humanitarian aid can be delivered. The Shiite rebel leader in Yemen is rejecting UN efforts to stop the violence and says they will not surrender because of the airstrikes. And Andrew Cuomo said to become the first sitting American governor to visit Cuba since the recent fall in relations with the communist nation. The New York governor is expected to spend tomorrow and Tuesday in Havana on a trip intended to create economic ties between New York and Cuba. Critics say Cuomo's visit legitimizes a dictatorship and is more about politics than exports. Traffic from the helpful SoCal Honda Traffic Center, problems orange.
Yeah, looks like on the 55 southbound at Chapman, you got a couple cars tangled up, taking away some middle lanes. So right now, it looks like CHP has all lanes temporarily stopped to get that cleared. Seeing some minor delays there coming away from about the 22 as we take a look at the SoCal Honda traffic cam. Driving through Commerce, we have a work zone out there on the 5 northbound at Slauson. Looks like the 2 left lanes are coned up. This is about 1 o'clock. That's going to be a full freeway closure. And if you're heading on the 110 northbound at, looks like the 5 about Legion Park, new SIG alert there, just getting news on this one. So it looks like transition road is blocked off, so I'll get you some more information on that, but it does look like SIG alert for the northbound 110 to the northbound 5. SIG alert is back for about another 30 minutes. KFI traffic now with even more coverage of where you drive most. I'm Kelly J.
Clouds and fog out there tonight into tomorrow morning. Overnight lows around 50. Some clearing tomorrow. Still a little partly cloudy during the day and a little cooler. Degree or 2 cooler Tuesday and a chance of rain starting Wednesday. 60 in Burbank. Stay connected with KFI News on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks. I'm Michael Trojan.
There is a wonderful legal concept that deals with that, and that is he is S-O-L. That's a legal concept, by the way. You can actually look at that under legal terms, and there's one that says S-O-L. A person creates an embryo and does not want to be a parent, therefore what happens? S-O-L.
Stay connected. Bill Handel, tomorrow morning at 6.
KFI AM 640.
There's no wrong way to celebrate getting a great home loan. High fives, fist bumps, we've seen it all. With Stone Gate Direct, celebrate today with a 30-year fixed-rate loan at just 3.625%. That's right, 3.625% for 30 years with no lender or title fees. 3.688% APR. That beats those 15-year loans being advertised that can really increase your monthly payments. Don't get fooled. Rates are low, but won't last forever. And think about what you could do with the monthly savings. At Stonegate Direct, qualified borrowers can refinance or pre-qualify to purchase in just minutes. For details on costs and terms, call toll-free today at 1-844-READY-SET. That's toll-free 1-844-READY-SET. Or visit StonegateDirect.com. Stonegate Direct. Get to
your loan on. All loans subject to credit approval. Rates and other details refer to conventional loan product only and are subject to change. Stonegate Direct is operated by Stonegate Mortgage Corporation, NMLS number 186732. Non-licensed to originate loans in Alaska, Hawaii, Nevada, New York, Utah, and West Virginia. Visit StonegateMTG.com for complete licensing profiles, equal housing lender.
Hey, campfire listeners, you know you love that transmission, and it's one of the most important parts of your car. And with these newer cars, you can't tell if that transmission's a problem or not. What kind of crazy trick is that? Well, if your car doesn't feel right, or your service light's on, don't get crazy. Call AMCO like I do. For a limited time, mention KFI, and the guys at AMCO are going to check that transmission for free. If your check engine light's on, or any other service lights, AMCO's going to read the report and the trouble codes to you at no cost. Why pay someone to read the trouble codes when AMCO does it for free? And whatever the problem is, transmission or otherwise, AMCO's going to fix it for you. They have easy payment plan options for almost any credit situation, even mine. Call the pros at 1-800-GO-AMCO or log on to AMCOSoCal.com for the center nearest you. That's double A. What's his name again? MCO. AMCO. Transmissions and
Vehicles cleared to unpaid or offer participating vendors only.
Have no idea what
KFI, an iHeart radio station.
are often spoke of interchangeably as how many rock songs use euphemisms for sexual acts. There's an example of one. That's a great song by Bruce Springsteen, Pink Cadillac, but you don't have to figure it out for very long if he's not talking about a car there. We're talking with Zoe Cormier about her new book, Drugs and Rock and Roll, The Science of Hedonism. Some really funny stories and great examples coming up. We'll jump right into it right after this on Coast to Coast AM.
Are you living with pain? So was Lisa, a brave Marine wounded in Iraq.
After surviving an explosion, I was on horrible painkillers. I tried 1 hour pain relief, and now I'm pain-free all day without dangerous side effects. And it works in less than 1 hour.
Try it free for 1 week and pay only the shipping with no automatic shipping. Call 800-500-1810 right now or visit 1hourpainrelief.com. That's 800-500-1810. 800-500-1810. What's the best way to bring people together? T-shirts. Custom T-shirts that you design online with custom ink. Custom ink has created over 50 million shirts for families, teams, for unions, church groups, cheerleaders, companies big and small. On-time delivery is guaranteed, and we're going to ship your order absolutely free.
Start designing your custom T-shirts today and see why 99% of our